I don't think there's any question the most irritating thing about politics right now is the double standard with MAGA, MAGA influencers, MAGA media, MAGA triple Trumpers. The hypocrisy is breathtaking. Here is a cell phone right here by conservative MAGA Trump sycophant Benny Johnson.
Cost you nothing. This is just the reality of life. You're gonna, like, were you young and dumb? How much money did you lose? Everyone loses money. Everyone loses money. It costs you nothing. In fact, it builds quite a bit of character. In fact, you learn a lot of lessons actually by losing money. It's bloody Black Monday. Holy moly. The Kamala crash is here. Kamala needs to get in front of a camera today. People are losing their homes today. People are losing their fortunes today. People are losing their futures today. People are losing their 401ks today. This is shaping up to be one of the worst market days in American history.
I mean, how shallow of an individual are you that you only care if people lose their money if a person you hate is behind it? Where if you love Trump and you're losing money and he's intentionally wrecking the markets, then it's building character. You've got some grit.
It's so unbelievable to me. And I just can't wrap my head around why would it be okay to lose money under Trump, but anybody else, it's bad? Why would you completely do a 180 for this man when he's intentionally wrecking the economy? And I know I'll have to leave it up to the psychiatrist to figure it out, but it's the irony and the hypocrisy. It just makes me want to scream.
I think the reason is that these guys want to dismantle democracy. This is a personality cult that has consolidated behind a leader who has identified who the enemy is, and that's immigrants and LGBTQ plus people. They've added women to that list. Black people have always been on the list. And this personality cult props up the leader at all costs. And these people are in a cult. Trump is an authoritarian. These people are not interested in preserving democracy or the rule of law, which brings me to Jesse Waters' long storied complications with trying to prove his sexuality. Put up this screen grab right here. Here he has Trump's manly tariffs, okay? And Tommy Viter says, today we learned that Trump's tariffs make at Jesse B. Waters rock hard. And I mean, this is the thing, like Jesse Waters' default setting with everything is to try to prove how manly the MAGA movement is. And I have never seen men constantly pretzel themselves so much to prove how masculine they are for a man that wakes up every morning and puts on orange makeup. It's breathtaking.
Well, and Jesse Waters is the worst offender. It doesn't matter what Trump does, he's all in. So when you talk about being manly and masculine and alpha male, these MAGA men, like you said, they're twisting themselves into a pretzel for a wannabe dictator. That's what they're doing. That is not manly. Standing up for other people is manly. And Jesse Waters, he just gags me. He sachets, he's prissy. I think we can all figure out what Jesse B. Waters is.
And here's a video of Jesse Waters talking with the Fox panel. Let's play this clip.
When you sit behind a screen all day, it makes you a woman. Studies have shown this. Studies have shown this. And if you're out working, like building robots like Harold, you are around other guys. You're not around HR ladies and lawyers.
What do you
that
do?
gives you estrogen.
What do you
Let
do?
me finish, Judge.
You sit behind a screen.
Yeah, Dana.
I think he's got to be a cross-dresser or something, because why do you spend so much time in front of a camera that's rolling, that's going to be broadcast to millions of people, talking about how masculine you are? I think at home, he's got a little trunk, and it's got feather boas, panties, bras, and heels, and lipstick, because it's bizarre. You and I never discuss how we're so feminine, and you know, we have to put on our high heels and our lipstick, and we don't want to hang out with a bunch of boys. They're stinky. It's really so juvenile in grade school and lacks emotional intelligence. It's so bizarre. And this is the thing that bothers me the most about MAGA is how regressive it is.
Yes.
To have a conversation with anybody that's involved with MAGA, you literally have to go back to defending democracy. You have to go back to why are you so in on separating boys from girls?
Right.
What's all that about? It's a very regressive subject matter. It's intellectually regressive. It's emotionally regressive. And then once they all start playing in the same sandbox, you've got a bunch of toddlers that are boys are stinky and girls are this, and it's just juvenile. And these people are now in charge of the government or enabling the most incompetent, morally bankrupt people this country has ever seen to govern a country that had the strongest economy in the world and has the largest military in the world. What are we doing here? What is going on here?
Well, these are not serious people. And you know what grosses me out? Jesse Waters, first of all, did you notice how much eyeliner? I mean, he's in the J.D. Vance eyeliner stage. They're laughing about misogyny. They are thinking it's funny. And like you said, they're trying to make it that men are better than women. And if you do this, then you're no better than women. It's gross. And I think about all the people by the millions that watch that and think, oh, that's a knee slapper. No wonder we're in such a fucking mess in this country.
You know, and a lot of the people that watch this have daughters.
Right.
And are women. And they're so blinded by the brainwashing that has been the patriarchal message and the capitalistic message that has ensued throughout America that that type of conversation makes society less safe. It's really sad where we are. Now, this is heartbreaking to me. Here we have MAGA continuing the whitewashing. Put up this headline. Harriet Tubman's photo has been removed by National Park Service's webpage on the Underground Railroad with the phrase enslaved African Americans changed to enslaved workers as well. And this is where we start to get regressive again. And this is insane. We have a horrific history with slaves. These people were raped, tortured, did all of the manual labor that started the impetus for generational white wealth. They've never been compensated for this. They have been segregated. Every time they had to go off to war, they came back home and white people treated them like shit. And I want to remind our viewer, there is a link between these white racists from the South during the slavery era and white MAGA people right now. And it is evangelical Christianity. And when you get a bunch of white evangelical Christians together, I promise you with everything in me, N-words are flying, hard R. These people are disgusting, evil, racist. We know this because we live in Oklahoma. And you might hear people on the coast, like I heard Bill Maher say, racism isn't a thing anymore. Well, maybe not for you, Bill Maher, in the liberal Hollywood circles that you circle around in. But in the middle of America, it is alive. It is well, it is emboldened, and this is disgraceful. And here's the fundamental difference between one political party and the other. One political party wanted to put Harriet Tubman on currency and is trying to reconcile and make a society that is inclusive of everybody. Another political party wants to remove and whitewash Harriet Tubman, and that is so evil. It is so morally bankrupt, and they do it all in the name of their Lord and personal Savior, Jesus Christ. It is a cancer. It is so horrible. And more white people need to quit being silent and excusing racism, or we will never get past this. We have to stand with the most marginalized people in our society. And that's why you never turn your back on trans people, because once you give them an inch, then they come further and further and further. And so the strongest people, the strongest citizens in this country stand with an ironclad spine with the most marginalized people in the community. Corrupt governments make corrupt economies and a corrupt electorate. When you have integrity, we can live and strive for a safer democracy. But this shit is disgraceful. It makes me so sick, this kind of racism.
And it's been all over. This administration, starting with the DEI hires and what Pete Hegseth has done with the military, purging different people that served people of color, women. It's disgusting. And this is why history repeats itself, because we whitewash it and we want to act like it didn't happen that way.
And white silence is a form of violence. And white people, and Pumps and I have been in situations our whole life, and all white viewers will know this. You're in situations with a group of white people where somebody says something off color or says something racist. And when I was younger, I just kind of silently would kind of go, oh God, that's disgusting. And I might say something behind the person's back. But movements like the Black Lives Matter movement and movements, civil rights movements, make you an impetus to study, an impetus to evolve, an impetus to be better. And now when I hear anybody say anything off color, I confront them immediately in real time, and not in a hateful way, but in a, why would you say something like that? Does that make you feel tough? Like, I don't want that type of racist language used around me. I don't think that's good. I think it's disgusting, and shame on you. And since when movements like this happen, everybody finds enlightenment and involvement. And the Trump administration knows that. They know that to an extent, Black Lives Matter helped a lot of white people evolve on the issue of race, and they're trying to erase it, and it's disgraceful.
Well, they're going backwards. They're holding on so tightly because they want to take that power back, because they want the white patriarchy in full force and effect. And that's exactly what the Trump administration is doing. They're taking everyone, everywhere, except white men.
And there is just a deep-seated hatred that white people, the patriarchal form, white evangelicals, have towards Black people, and a real feeling of superiority. And once you see it as a white person and your eyes are open to it, it's devastating. And so I call on every white American to understand that this fight has to be fought hand in hand. The fight for civil rights, the fight for social justice, and now the fight for democracy. And it takes every single one of them. The United States is a multicultural nation, period. It is. You can't undo it. It is a melting pot of cultures. It's not a white country. It's not a Black country. It is a mixed race country. And you know what? That's actually very cool. It is a very awesome component of the United States. And so, I always want to shine a light on what we can do as two white privileged women to help reach out to people of color, to the LGBTQ plus community, to let them know that we see that this fight takes people like us joining the fight, joining hands with you, and fighting these fucking fascists, because they are terrible. And what they're doing with Harriet Tubman and all of the other whitewashing is just disgraceful. All right, we're on our way to 1 million subs. Please subscribe, and we'll see you all later.